Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the Carter James Ranch channel. Down here giving the cattle, filling up their water. You can see them behind me here walking. I've got them stationed down here at the home place down in this low-lying area that runs up against the creek. And this is actually the first time we've ever grazed this area. We had to actually get a section of fence put up to enclose it in. So first time we're grazing it. So it's got some real good brome down here with some other mixtures of grass in, but great to be mowing it now. Just filled up their water, walked out here into the pasture to see how much they've eaten, and you can see that everyone's kind of waking up for the morning. So they were all laying down close to their water. But I wanted to do a real quick video. Here we are, June 25th, and we have not gotten a rain since May 30th. Since getting into agriculture, I started to put on my phone the days we'd get rain and how much we got, just so I could start to track it, because after a couple weeks you kind of lose track. But like I said, we got about a 1.44 inches on May 30th, and we've got nothing since then. Yesterday, my weather app said we had an 84% chance of getting some rain. The skies were getting dark. Looked like there was going to be a cell with some heavy rain that came through, and it ended up blowing south. So that was a real that was pretty disheartening. But I wanted to flip you around here and show you what things look like here and what we're trying to do, given the fact that we are in a drought. Most of the Midwest is in a drought, and that's actually quite a scary thing when you're grazing through and all of a sudden things that you've grazed several weeks ago are not getting as much regrowth because it's extremely dry. So let me flip you around and show you what things look like. So here's the herd rolling over here. We got the steers and we got the Wagyu herd. So I'm not sure if it's going to show up on video, but this was our line where we did have the cattle over to our right over here, and now we've moved them over here onto the left. Gave them a real big area back here. Tons of trees. You can see how it's very, very tree over there. We actually did a tree removal on this section of this 15 acres, and we have a ton of shoots that are coming back up. So I'll need to address that, get these things out of here. You can see they're all starting to grow up all over the place. The cattle do actually like to nip on these, even though there's some thorns. They do like to nip on the tops of these. It is interesting, once I get down here, they were all laying down, filled up their waters, and I wanted to walk out here, and they all started kind of getting up to come start to graze. But we did turn Diablo the bull in, so I've been monitoring him, kind of seeing who he's following and how his breeding's going. There's one of our young Wagyu bulls, and there's another one. They're coming along nice. It is a bummer. These two young bulls, they are related to about half the herd, so I am going to be selling them. So if you're interested in a Wagyu bull, you let me know. They're going to be weaned off here later this year in the fall, but they are healthy and looking good. One thing I did do here in this pasture, and you can see why I did this, I did leave a handful of cedar trees. The cattle love rubbing up against them. Part of my fly spray does have an essential oil in there called cedar wood, and I've noticed that every paddock here and at the ranch where there's cedar trees, every time the cattle get moved in there, they love scratching on them. So whether it helps with the fly load, giving a scent, or it's just kind of the texture of the cedar trees, it does the cattle good. So, but everyone's doing real well. 1845 here, she's slicked off pretty nice. The fly load is really almost vanished. You can see a few flies on her, but she's looking real slick. The majority of the herd is not getting pounded by flies at all, so that's really good. These Wagyu calves, I gotta tell you, they grow quick, so he's looking good. They get big pretty quick, pretty tall. They're looking good. I want to see if I can find Diablo real quick. I always like to know where he is. He's a calm bull so far. That doesn't mean I want to startle him or walk right up on him. But as you can see, the grass here is pretty good. We're probably about a foot tall, And this is a low-lying area, so when we have a wet season, this is real wet down here. We do have a creek that runs through the property. Oh, there's Diablo right there. You can see him with that brand on his back quarter. So I like to see who he's kind of hanging around with. And hey, 4907. Just so I can mark in my phone who's probably coming into heat and when, so I can have maybe a good idea of when they get bred. So there you go again. Everyone kind of walking by cedar trees, doing a quick brush on them. I have noticed the calves and even the cattle, even the mamas and the steers like to lay down in the shade of them. But there's a creek down here, so like I was saying, when we have wet weather, this will be tough to graze because the cattle will be real wet. The cattle could pug it a little bit, and as we move that direction over to the road, there's actually a bunch of areas that actually collect a lot of water. So again, being a low-lying area, we're going to graze this real hard right now and try to buy some time for the rest of the property to get some rain. But you can see like where we took down a bunch of trees. Now, one thing that I will do differently, we did have a company come in here and they didn't cut the trees down, they basically shredded them down, and I came through and tried to spray all the stumps, but it looks like we have a whole lot of shoots that are shooting up. So in hindsight, if I was going to do it again, I might elect not to have them shred the trees down, but get someone to come in here and cut them. So I don't mind having some trees. A lot of cattle guys like to have the entire property clear cut. I don't like that. I like having shade for the animals. But so the drought plan, talking to a number of different ranchers and farmers here in the Midwest, I've heard some guys are already starting to feed hay, slowing their rotations down, feeding hay just to hopefully buy us some time. So continue to pray for rain. I know we'll eventually get it. You just don't know when. But this part of the ranch, again, this has never been grazed. Obviously, just tons and tons of trees. So we're gonna have let the cattle come back here and do their thing. We're gonna hit this pretty hard and in buying some time for the rest of the ranch. You can see the cattle are walking through the grass. It comes up to about their first joint, so they got a good amount back here. Let me walk over here and show you. So you can see, I don't know if you can see it on camera, but here's a real low-lying area. So water runs down off that hill, and there's different little alleyways here where the water runs and eventually runs into the creek, which is over past those trees, past the electric fence. But this is a great area back here. Great area for grazing, lots of shade, lots of chances for the cattle to get out of the sun. We're supposed to get, obviously June 25th here, temperatures are starting to warm up. We've had a great early summer here. Temperatures have just been in the upper 80s. Yesterday we got to 95. The real feel was 103. So we did have a nice breeze. As we have a breeze this morning, you can see trees are moving around a little bit, which that helps take the edge off. The concern with no rain, we're supposed to hit 100 degrees this week, Wednesday and Thursday, 100, 101. Who knows what the real feel will be like? Really depends on the humidity level. But as this drought continues to go on, here coming up on 4 weeks of no rain, as the temperatures climb, things will start to slow down quite a bit. So we're gonna have to make some decisions. I'm thankful that we broke the herds up for breeding when we did, probably about a week or two early, because now we've got better balance on the two properties for the stocking of it all. So a lot of cleanup on these old pastures. I mean, here's a T-post that's bent down. You'd hate to come through here with a bush hog or anything like that. That would do a number on your machine. And the other thing we've noticed, there's been some cross fencing here that we've had to pull out, barbed wire that's been laid over and buried. But you can tell lots of lush pasture back here. Real happy that the cattle are gonna be able to have plenty to eat here for a little bit, and it's good forage. and we've got good grass ahead of them. The one thing I have noticed where we moved them from a week or two back, not much regrowth going on, so we really do need some rain, or at least getting dew in the morning. We've not gotten dew the last couple mornings, so you know, the dew doesn't help with ponds filling up. That's what we need rains for. We need rains to keep everything lush, but if we're getting some heavy dews, that's at least giving the grass a little bit of a drink. But as temperatures start to get real hot, we're gonna see what things are gonna look like. And frankly, drought is scary. You know, the thought of having to start feeding hay in the summertime, that's not a good. It's gonna make for a long summer, long fall, and possibly an extremely long winter, and expensive winter. So what we're doing. The other thing I do like about having the trees, the cattle will actually eat a lot of these leaves. You know, they'll eat off these honey locusts. I don't like honey locusts. I hate them for all the thorns they have on them. But the cattle will come up here gently on the tips, pull these leaves off, and some of these other trees, they'll eat the leaves as well. So trees are good for shade and good for forage. So as of now, we're doing a-okay on this 15-acre plot. We're going to leave them down here for a couple days, especially while it's dry. We're going to graze the heck out of this, and see, Sunday now we'll probably leave them here till Tuesday and let them kind of do a number on it, and then we'll keep moving around. So thanks a lot for watching, everybody. Hope you guys have a blessed week. Hope you're getting rain where you're at, and we'll see you in the next video.